His friends, for a variety of reasons, knew Richard Smith, born in 1941, as Big Richard. Some say for his size, some say because he had a son named Richard, and some say it's because he had a very big heart.
Big Richard was not a tiny person. When he moved to Bend, he was probably about 450 pounds, maybe more.
Growing up as the oldest of 5 brothers who were all big eaters, his parents told Richard and his brothers they needed help.
Basically said, if you want to eat that much, you guys are going to have to chip in and get jobs because we just can't afford to feed 5 boys.
Richard had no problem with the idea of getting a job. He'd been hanging out at the local circus, watching the performers on the trampoline and trapeze, and learning how to perform himself.
Next thing you know, they offered him a job because they were so good, and they were doing tumbling and flying trapeze.
Richard became a catcher, the one who catches another person flying through the air. And when he wasn't working as a trapeze artist, he was working with elephants.
He ended up traveling with them, and that was his job, and that's how they pretty much fed themselves that extra food they needed.
The circus career didn't last long. When he was 20 years old, Richard joined the Navy as a Seabee stationed in Adak, Alaska. It was a Cold War-era air station used for anti-submarine warfare, and it was also reported to be a refueling stop for the U-2 spy plane. Richard worked as a pipe fitter, skills he possibly picked up from his father, who was a plumber. When his enlistment was up, Richard returned to California and started his own plumbing business, employing his brothers to help. He soon found a niche for himself, building coin-operated laundromats all over California.
And he built laundromats all around LA, San Diego, Orange County.
By the time Richard retired to Bend in 2003, he had raised 4 children. He quickly began involving himself in the community, including a small group of 6 people in the Bend Band of Brothers.
He was going to these meetings with the Band of Brothers, and then he decided, hey, why don't we try over at Jake's? And so Jake's restaurant became his go-to place and all his friends, and then every Monday they would do their Band of Brothers meeting.
The Bend Band of Brothers has now grown to 1,700 members and still meets at Jake's. Jake's became a favorite place, and one of Richard's favorite things was volunteering on Thanksgivings to cut pies, spending the entire day cutting and serving. Richard also busied himself with the American Legion Post 4. By 2010, he had become the post commander.
You would see him in his big diesel truck, driving in the parades. That was one of his favorite things to do, is be part of that American Legion parade down in downtown Bend.
When Richard began working for Habitat for Humanity, building homes for those in need, it became one of his passions.
That was the happiest he's ever been, was when he moved here and started Habitat, and he just met so many amazing friends.
It was while building houses for Habitat for Humanity in 2014 that Richard was diagnosed with inoperable liver cancer. While working on the last house he would help build, Habitat put up a billboard calling that house the Big Richard Build, honoring Richard for all his work. Big Richard passed away July 23, 2017. He counted as friends members from the Bend Band of Brothers, the American Legion Post 4, and Habitat for Humanity, and many others he helped along the way.
I think it changed him when he moved to Oregon and met so many amazing people. Till this day, I say I hope I can have the friends that he had and do the things that he did and give back to the communities. I think the thing that people would remember him most is just being part of the community and helping people.
Richard's ready smile and willing hands are missed.